everybody, welcome back to Belgium for the 14th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We are at the MXGP of Flanders and the notoriously difficult sand circuit of Lommel. Since our first visit back in 1990, the physically challenging circuit of Lommel has now seen 34 winners. Remember a couple of years ago, 6 of them being within the space of a week when we're in here for the 2020 pandemic and the triple header MXGP format. First winner was Pekka Vähkönen back in 1990 in the 250 class riding a Yamaha. Last year's winner, Romain Febvre in MXGP on a Kawasaki. And Romain Febvre in with a shot of winning again this weekend, possibly. Say that possibly because it's a hot weekend. It's 32 degrees, very hot, very warm, very humid, no air at all. The MXGP riders are on their sighting lap as we speak, as you can see. Just under 1,900 meters long, the racetrack here. It is absolutely brutal now. Deep holes, they're only going to get worse. And this is what it looks like on the flat plan. Start straight into a right-hander, then back in the opposite direction, the long straight towards turn 2. And then it tightens up a little bit, opens up through the infield section, tightens up towards the end of the lap. But very, very challenging. And we're going to see the highlights from race 1 in just a few moments' time. Back live then with these images from above as we prepare for MXGP Race 2. Before we go anywhere, though, let's take a look at the highlights from the first race and what happened earlier on today. MXGP Race 1, Jorge Prado with his 14th Fox Holeshot from the inside gates. Henry Jacobi just came in a little hot. Romain Febvre was a little bit tighter, so too Tim Geiser. He emerged in second. Seawer third. Brian Bogers in 5th, just behind Romain Febvre. Seawer was down the inside. Geiser got himself into second as he went in pursuit of Prado, but then all of a sudden Geiser just started to lose a few positions on the opening lap, and he was pretty soon back into 3rd or 4th place. One of the hard chargers was Vlaanderen, number 10. He and Romain Febvre on the 3 machine were fighting over 5th place. Eventually, Febvre got the better of Geiser to move into 4th. Quickly followed through by the number 10 of Vlaanderen. Geiser then down in 6th place at that stage. Jeremy Seawer then made a mistake. That allowed Febvre into 3rd. And then Febvre closed in on Prado to take over 2nd position because we had a leader in the form of Brian Bogers who was already disappearing out in a different postcode. The problem there for Seawer allowed Vlaanderen back through, and then he quickly moved by Prado as well into 3rd place. Then Seawer got the better of the Spaniard, who eventually faded to 9th place. More on that in a moment. But Glenn Coldenhoff, one of the riders to go through to an eventual 4th place finish. Tim Geiser eventually came home in 7th, despite making a mistake through here a little bit later on in the race. But Vlaanderen was one of the fastest riders on track, got himself into 2nd. That was the aftermath of Tim Geiser's crash. Cost him a position. He ended up in 7th place, but Brian Bogers, standing construct, factory Husqvarna, was just imperious in race 1. His first win in the MXGP class does it here in Belgium. Vlaanderen was 2nd, Febvre 3rd. Let's go down to Lisa.
Almost time for MXGP Race 2. I'd like to speak to Alberto Ferrato. Alberto, everyone says Lommel is the toughest racetrack in the world, and they're not wrong, are they?
Yeah, for sure, it is. It is, especially now on my conditions. I'm just back from the fibula injury, so it's really tough to come back, and here for sure you struggle. Also when you're 100%, imagine when you're just came back from an injury. So it's going to be a tough one, but we go for it and we push 303% and we see what's happened.
Good luck for the final race. Thanks, Alberto. Jeremy Seewer, just tell us about that first race and just how tough it is out there.
Yeah, it's Lommel at its best, you know, especially now with the 2 days format. There are some bumps compared to the last 2 seasons, but I enjoyed. You know, I had a great start. I followed my rhythm. I let them go. I felt great. I kept my energy. Then I started to push towards the end and just made, a stupid small mistake, which costed me probably 3rd place. But I kept some energy for the second moto. That's another 35 minutes. But I feel good, and I'm looking forward to that one.
Final race of the day. How is that track shaping up?
Well, it's getting deeper and deeper. I mean, this is just once a year we ride Lommel like that. I mean, even on rough practice days, it's not even half as rough as now. But, you know, it's a brutal race, but that's what we train for. I mean, it's going to be tough for everybody, but I feel great. I have a good recovery, and I feel good.
Okay. Good luck to the final race. Thank you. Okay, it's time for MXGP Race 2.
Final preparations then on the start straight ahead of MXGP Race 2. Take a look at the top 5 in the championship standings, shall we, before we go anywhere. This is after race 1. Tim Geiser arrived here 125 points clear of Jeremy Seewer going into race 2. Just been reduced by 1 point, so 124 between Geiser and Seewer. Prado now 13 adrift of Seewer. Maxime Renault 28 behind the Spaniard, with Coldenhoff just 9 behind his teammate. Take a look at the calendar. Calendar looks like this then. The black and white we've cleared. The colour ones, they've still to come. Flanders here today, and then a week off, and then 3 in a row. Sweden, Finland, and we go back to France, Saint-Jean-d'Angely. A week off, and then we end up in Turkey for the final round. Let's take a look at how the riders line up for MXGP Race 2, just as they did for Race 1, based on their qualifying race on Saturday. Jeremy Seewer, back-to-back pole positions, his 2nd pole position of the campaign. Tim Geiser will line up 2nd on the grid ahead of Jorge Prado, Calvin Vlaanderen, Glenn Coldenhoff, Romain Febvre, Brent Van Donnick and Maxime Renault. And then after those guys, Brian Bogers, well, he turned that 9th place into a race win in the first outing. Can he do it again in race 2? Jed Beaton will line up 10th ahead of Mattia Guadagnini, Ben Watson, Conrad Muse, Henry Jacobi, Kevin Bruman and the rest of the guys. Back down on the gate then, and Jeremy Seewer lines up on pole position. He managed 6th in race 1. Spoke to him just a few moments ago. He said it was just a silly little mistake that cost him. He could have been 3rd, but he ended up in 6th place. Jorge Prado not feeling well this morning when he arrived at the track. He didn't sleep overnight, and he was just tired, according to team manager Davide De Carli. Could be a long race for the Spaniard this time around. Tim Geiser, Team HRC, had arm pump in the first race, which is why he struggled in the early laps and could only manage 7th, so expect more from the Slovenian. Glenn Coldenhoff, 4th overall. Montreal's Yamaha rider knocking on the door for a podium, but so too Romain Febvre, Calvin Vlaanderen and your winner from race 1, Brian Bogers. Calvin Vlaanderen then, the Gebben van Venrooy Yamaha rider. He was victorious in Sardinia. Can he do it again here in Belgium? Everybody behind the gate as we prepare for MXGP Race 2. Maxime Renault there, 959. 3 Yamahas locked together. Coldenhoff, Renault and Seewer, 4th, 5th and 6th in that first race. We're all go. We've got a green flag. MXGP Race 2, the fly race in 15-second board up for the final time today. The MXGP of Flanders here at Lommel in Belgium. About to get underway. Who will it be that grabs that all-important Fox Holeshot this weekend in the final race? Prado gets a good jump over on the left-hand side, but so too does Seewer. And Maxime Renault. Renault runs too wide, though. And Prado up the inside. His 15th Fox Holeshot of the season. And he leads race 2. Ben Watson there in second position on the Kawasaki. Coldenhoff just ahead of him now, though. And then another good start, crucially, for Brian Bogers. 1, 2, 3, 4th position. Seewer behind him. But it's Prado who leads the way. Where's Geiser? There he is, just ahead of Vlaanderen. So Prado leads. Coldenhoff now second. Watson in third. Bogers fourth. Seewer fifth. Febvre sixth. Geiser 7th. Renault 8th. Vlaanderen and Paturel rounding out the top 10. Then we've got Van Donnik and Beaton. As Bogers going after Watson here. Brian Bogers, your winner from race 1, closest to us, trying to lean on Ben Watson as he looks to go from 4th to 3rd, and he gets the drive on the Brit, and he launches past the Kawasaki rider. Prado trying to make an early break just like he tried in race 1, but it came back and bit him in the backside because he just had no energy. He was just lethargic. According to his assistant team manager, Davide De Carli, he informed them of his condition early this morning when he arrived at the track, so they already knew it was going to be a tough first race. Geiser up to 4th. Look, he's found his way past Ben Watson. Frantic exchanges in the early stages of race 1, as you would expect. Calvin Vlaanderen there, so too Seewer and Renault. A brighter start for Geiser. Looks like he's ready to go with the flow this time around. 2 factory Kawasaki's line astern there, look. Febvre at number 3 and Watson. But the danger man lurking in the background in white, closest to us now, number 10, Calvin Vlaanderen. Vlaanderen lands in 7th place. Up the inside of Watson. And he finds his way past the 9.19 into 6th. Still got some work to do, though. Up on the pegs, goes a long way round, and he does emerge ahead of the Brit. Bright start, though, for Ben Watson this time around. There's Jeremy Seewer, 91, his teammate Maxime Renault, and then the 128, the Vivo Monticelli, the JM Honda in 10th position. Vlaanderen made a good start in race 1. Took him a while to get going, though. Once he did, he was up to 3rd by lap 7. Seewer going after Watson now. Again, goes to the outside. Oh, he would have seen what happened a lap ago, possibly. Renault giving chase as well. Top of your screen, Coldenhoff closing in on Prado, and Bogers being caught by Geiser at the moment. Geiser in red, just in the left-hander now. And coming towards us, 2.43, the championship leader. Seewer finds his way past Watson, moves into 7th place. And Renault also finds a way by, but then he gets squeezed back into 9th place. What a frantic start. This is MXGP Race 2. Again, just like the first race. Sprint laps just to get going, just to get up front, stay out of trouble, put some distance, whatever it is you have to do. There's the 128 on a white Honda, the Jackie Martin's team running this weekend, behind the 91, the 959 of Renault. Jed Beaton on the F&H Kawasaki. He's in 11th place, ahead of Alvin Osland on the JK Racing Yamaha. Jacoby is next, then Van Donnik on the Riley Yamaha. Rider down, Seewer. Seewer out of 7th place. Got to pick himself up. Rejoin the race in 10th position. Costly mistake for the number 91, who said he'd save some energy for race 2. So plenty of time still to run. Watson gets passed by Renault for 7th. Up front, Jorge Prado was 2.4 seconds clear with the fastest lap of the race last time around, but Coldenhoff has closed him down. So too Bogers, Geiser and Febvre about to join the party as well. Don't rule out Calvin Vlaanderen either. Going to be a long race, even 24 minutes plus 2 set to run. As it stands right now, Brian Bogers, 1st and 3rd, would win the overall classification. Probably not even thinking about that at the moment, nor the team. But Prado continues to lead the race from Coldenhoff. Bogers 3rd, Geiser 4th, Febvre 5th there, number 3. Vlaanderen is getting closer. And Febvre, the fastest rider on track, and the fastest lap of the race this time around, as he homes in on Geiser. Bogers under attack, closes down the door on the championship leader. Does not want to lose a position to Tim Geiser, who's definitely fired up this time around. And so too is Coldenhoff. Coldenhoff on the podium at the moment on 40 points. Finds his way past Prado, that gives him 43. So all kinds of scenarios here amongst the first 5 riders, as Febvre trying to out-jump Geiser, but stays there in 5th position. This is playing perfectly into the hands of Calvin Vlaanderen. Look, bottom corner of your screen. Coldenhoff alongside Prado. And the Dutchman leads here on lap 4. And Febvre goes through on Geiser as well and moves into 4th place. Oh, and almost carves his way up the inside of Bogers. Does Febvre. Febvre dives down the inside of Brian Bogers. It's been a busy lap for overtakes here. We'll bring you some replays in a moment, but let's just get things settled. We've got a new leader in the form of Glenn Coldenhoff. And Febvre has found his way past Bogers. And Vlaanderen has moved past Tim Geiser. All change on lap 4. But Glenn Coldenhoff, your new leader. Prado 2nd, Febvre in green 3rd, Bogers in 4th place. Vlaanderen now 5th, Geiser 6th, Maxime Renault 7th. Ben Watson 8th, Seawert up to 9th after his mistake a lap or so ago. A couple of corners from now, and Monticelli in 10th after just being passed by Seawert. As it stands now, Coldenhoff on the top step of the podium. 43 points with a 4th and a 1st. Bogers, your winner from race 1 there in the dark blue colours. A win and a 4th would be 2nd overall. Same points. 3rd, Febvre on 40. And then we've got Vlaanderen on 38 as it stands right now. Do not expect it to stay like that, because Vlaanderen has also found his way past Bogers. Look, as he moves behind Febvre into 4th place. Glenn Coldenhoff's got the right idea. He's 2.3 seconds clear at the moment. Leaving Prado to pick up the pieces behind him and deal with the rest of the riders, starting with Febvre, then Vlaanderen, then Bogers, then Geiser. And already up on the pegs, the Red Bull Gas rider, trying to pick up as many points as possible. Once again, a brave start for him, a bright start. But can he stay there? This is where... he tried again, didn't he? Just like he did on Bogers a lap ago. Romain Febvre, not successful this time. But he may be now. No. Prado keeps it in there, keeps him at bay, just. Gets over the triple, he's got to stretch it out. As does everybody else, but round the outside, Romain Febvre into second. And then Prado just tips over. You see the reaction there from the team. Febvre found his way past. Let's say we're going to be busy with replays in a moment from the lap before. A lot of positions changing. Prado picks himself up in 7th place. Here's Tim Geiser, he's 5th, Renault 6th. Good for Vlaanderen going after Romain Febvre here. Doubles in neatly. That was just a smooth corner at the start of the weekend. Ah, Febvre does just about hang on. But Vlaanderen chasing down the former world champion. This is for 2nd place. Febvre, a nervous look over the shoulder. Vlaanderen goes high and wide. Febvre closes him off on the exit. Right, Vlaanderen around the outside. Tries to cut back to the inside. If he can find his way past Febvre, he will jump to the top of the standings today. Bogers coming back for more. Look, 189, standing construct Husqvarna. Very, very tight podium. The first two on 43, 3rd and 4th on 42. Someone is going to be heartbroken at the end of it all, because they will not feature in the top 3 this weekend. The question is who? Untidy couple of corners for Vlaanderen. All of a sudden, Brian Bogers back in play. Just wonder if he just had the stress of thinking, oh, I can win the GP a few moments ago, and all of a sudden now thinking, well, maybe I can't win the GP. No more pressure. And just bringing back his A game. Because Febvre has just disappeared in that 2nd place. 2.6 seconds clear of Vlaanderen, who now has a very persistent Brian Bogers to deal with. And he can still win it as well if he finds his way past Vlaanderen. So Vlaanderen finds his way past Febvre, he wins as it stands right now. Bogers passes this rider here in white, number 10 Vlaanderen, then Bogers wins the Grand Prix. As it stands right now, Coldenhoff is leading the overall. The Monster Energy Yamaha rider. 3 podiums in a row. Sardinia, Spain and France. Was 4th overall a week ago in Czech Republic. Bogers getting closer. Won his first MXGP race in race 1. Would love to turn it into a Grand Prix victory, wouldn't he? Vlaanderen already a Grand Prix winner this year in Sardinia, which was the perfect weekend for him. 1-1 that day for the Gavin van Venrooy Yamaha rider. Bogers around the outside, but struggling for visibility. Has a couple of goes at the tear-off system. Cuts to the inside here, and he does. Finds his way down the inside, barges past Vlaanderen into 3rd. Oh, just almost overcooked it when he came into land. Right, as he got the berries to go after Febvre. Brian Bogers, watch this here. Cuts to the inside. Talk about decisive. He had to commit. Vlaanderen, I think, knew that he was there. Great move that from Bogers, though. He's now up to 3rd, but it's Coldenhoff and Febvre who still lead. Glenn Coldenhoff, 2:09.4 that time around. The fastest lap of the race, though. Romain Febvre behind him 2:08.3, a full second pulled back by the factory Kawasaki rider. He's now 3.4 seconds behind the Hoff. And if Febvre finds his way past, he can also win the Grand Prix. All kinds of podium permutations to deal with in the next 14 minutes plus 2 laps. Bogers sets the fastest sector 1 for himself this time around, 25.4. But looking good at the moment, Glenn Coldenhoff. Hasn't had too far to travel for what is like a home round for him and the team. Just over the border, of course, in the Netherlands. Got this section dialed. Finding some good form at the moment in the late stage of this season. It's a 2:59, the Hoff. Nice inside line there as well. He's opening the gap out, 4.1 seconds at the last split. He was half a second quicker than Febvre, and Febvre looking a bit tired there in that corner, unless it was just a little mistake. Febvre, last year's winner of this MXGP of Flanders. Doubles in over that crest. Again, that was a flat landing at the start of the weekend. Look at that. And he's losing more time to Coldenhoff at the moment. Maxime Renaux has moved ahead of Tim Geiser and into 5th place. Eight laps complete. Glenn Coldenhoff continues to lead. He's just put in a 2:09.338. Romain Febvre, though, a 2:11.7, is now almost 6 seconds behind the Dutchman. 12.5 minutes plus 2 to go. MXGP Race 2 here, the MXGP of Flanders in Belgium. This is Romain Febvre on the factory Kawasaki, Kawasaki racing team. Your winner from last year, currently sitting 3rd overall. It'll be his first podium visit as it stands right now. He just came back a couple of rounds ago, didn't he? 3 rounds ago in Germany, went to Indonesia. Was sick for race 2 in the Czech Republic a week ago, so didn't line up for race 2. But not yet had a podium in his return. 3 races. Gets hung up on a hole there on the exit of that turn. But if he can find his way back onto the rear wheel of Coldenhoff and make the pass, he could win the Grand Prix. Depends what goes on around him. Currently 2nd in the race, 3rd overall in the classification with a 3rd and a 2nd. Remember, 25 points for a win, 22 for 2nd, 20, 18, 16, 15, and then single digits, 14, right the way down to 20th, where you get 1 World Championship point. In the event of a tie, at the end of 2 races, the best result between those people that tie in the 2nd race determines it. So a 2-1 beats a 1-2, for instance. Romain Febvre matching sector 3 time of Coldenhoff that time around. He was quicker at sector 1, but lost time in sector 2. The gap hovering at 6 seconds at the moment. Glenn Coldenhoff. Still leads the way. Hasn't won a GP since August 9th, 2020. Kegums in Latvia. Right, Brian Bogers, 3rd. Vlaanderen, 4th. What's going on between these two? 2:11.2, 2:10.6. Vlaanderen back in the ascendancy as he goes back after Bogers. Current situation with Vlaanderen. He is 4th overall in the overall classification on 40 points. If he finds his way past Bogers, he'll move to 42. Febvre will be tied with him. Febvre ahead of him in the race at the moment. So that will go the way of Romain Febvre. But it also means that as it stands right now, because Bogers up to third, currently on the top step of the podium. He's obviously found his way past Vlaanderen. What else has happened here? Coldenhoff leads, Febvre second. Van Hoorbeek, he's already sick anyway this weekend. He's braved it, race 1 and race 2. But Jeremy Van Hoorbeek will not finish his home round, possibly his last home Grand Prix of his career as well. Who knows? But as it stands now, Coldenhoff, Febvre, Bogers, Vlaanderen, Renault, they top 5 in the race. Bogers on 45, Coldenhoff on 43, Febvre on 42, and Vlaanderen on 40. But knocking on the door, he finds his way past, and it looking likely at the moment. Then he'll hand the victory possibly to Glenn Coldenhoff in the overall stakes. Absolutely pushing the limits around this Lommel circuit. Vlaanderen tries to go the long way round, gets squeezed though. Bogers doing a great job hanging on, but Vlaanderen seizes an opportunity. A mistake there from Bogers. He got offline, and Vlaanderen back into third. Watch this. Just came in, bounced, got offline, and then had to correct. And Vlaanderen snuck up the inside into third place. What can he do with the clear track? Take a look at the podium once again. Coldenhoff back on top, 43 points with a 4th and a 1st. Bogers, a 1st and a 4th, would drop to 2nd on the same points as Coldenhoff. But as we said before, Coldenhoff leading the race. That goes in his favour in the event of a tie. Febvre on 42, Vlaanderen on 42. So Calvin Vlaanderen, Gavin van Venrooy Yamaha has broken free from any threat of Brian Bogers. And he is on it again. It looks like he's on it anyway. The body language certainly suggests that to be the case. What's the gap between him and Febvre? 6.2 seconds at the moment. And last time around, Febvre 2:11.8, Vlaanderen 2:10.4. Oh, back end gets a little bit leery. Somehow he stays up. Watch this. There and there. Oh, almost comes to a halt. Had to hit the brakes. Get everything corrected. Had to use every ounce of upper body strength as well. Would have knocked a little bit of stuffing out of him. Barely flinched though. Got his head back down. Meanwhile, here is your race leader, Monster Energy Yamaha's Glenn Coldenhoff. The very significant other looks on from down there in pit lane. "11 laps complete." Consistent laps these for Coldenhoff as well. 2:12.4 that time around. We wait for Febvre to hit the line. And the gap between those two, 10.8 seconds now. As Febvre clocks a 2:15.1 compared to a 2:12.4 of Vlaanderen, who is now less than 3 seconds behind the Frenchman. Vlaanderen makes the pass. It's Febvre off the podium. And Vlaanderen will move to 44 points and win the GP. Now, there is a lot at stake here in the next 5.5 minutes plus 2 laps. And it all hinges on these two riders. Oh, panic rev there from Febvre. Didn't get the drive. Take a deep breath, Romain, because you're going to need it. Vlaanderen is pushing hard and closing in sector 1. You got the advantage. Sector 2, though, we'll keep an eye on those times. Here's Tim Geiser. Team HRC circulating in 7th place. A 3-time winner around here, Tim Geiser, won't make the podium. He'll leave here 7th overall, but he will still lead the championship, obviously by a quite hefty margin. was 124 at the start of the race. He's 1 place behind Seewer. That's going to be 1 point, so it's going to be 123 points. Maxime Renault, 959, reigning MX2 world champion, just cuts to the inside. He circulates in 5th place at the moment. 4 minutes to go, though. Maxime Renault just going through the motions here in 5th position, 18 seconds behind Brian Bogers, 5 ahead of his teammate Jeremy Seewer. Everybody agrees, as Jeremy Seewer said in the pre-grid interview at the start of the race, once a year they race Lommel like this. It's never like this when you come training here during the week. We've had 80 riders from MX2 and MXGP turn up. We've had 60 125s, 60 250s. All of a sudden, Romain Febvre under attack from Calvin Vlaanderen. Vlaanderen makes the pass. He'll stand on the top step of the podium here in Lommel, and he gets down the inside of the Frenchman, and out jumps the Kawasaki. Still got some work to do, but he's got the pass made. That'll be Vlaanderen on the top step of the podium when he hits the line next time around. The Sandman is back. Vlaanderen now up in the 2nd position. And the fans love it over there. Does he know? I'm sure he does, because he was 2nd in race 1 behind Romain Febvre. He knows Bogers is behind him as well, so he's probably thinking it's possible that he could be leading the classification. But where's Bogers? Bogers 4.5 seconds behind Romain Febvre. It could change again if the Dutchman finds his way past the Frenchman. This is currently Vlaanderen, though, on top step of the podium. If he stays where he is, Coldenhoff will finish 2nd overall. Right, there's Febvre. Bogers, keep an eye on him. 4.4 seconds behind the Frenchman. Lapping quicker last time around. Talk about going right the way down to wire. One and a half minutes plus 2 laps to go. MXGP Race 2. Calvin Vlaanderen has found his way past Romain Febvre into 2nd position, and as a result, he currently is the overall Grand Prix winner. It'll be 2 second place finishes. Coldenhoff will be on 43, 1 point behind Vlaanderen. Brian Bogers here, currently 3rd overall, ahead of Romain Febvre, who's been dumped off the podium with Vlaanderen going by. But there could be another twist and another sting, because Brian Bogers, last time around, his standing construct Husqvarna rider here, has got Romain Febvre ahead of him to the tune of about 4 seconds. His lap time last time around was a 2:15.3 compared to a 2:18.2 of Febvre. If Bogers goes through, let's have a look at that situation. Gives him 2 more points, puts him on the top step of the podium. He just needs to dig deep. I'm sure the team will be working out that particular scenario. So there's going to be 3 big laps coming up. That's Febvre going the opposite direction. This is Brian Bogers. This is 3rd and 4th in the race. Depends how much energy Bogers used in that first race, though, because he was not letting up. It was 32 degrees as it is now. These guys are going to be running on reserves, including Brian Bogers. That's the gap there. The Kawasaki, bottom of your screen, and the Husqvarna closing him down. Is the gap coming down, though, significantly enough for him to push the final 2 laps? Still probably hovering around about 4 seconds at the moment. Febvre may be safe in 3rd. And as a result, as Seewer charges down the inside of his teammate Renault, takes away 5th place. So Jeremy Seewer will gain another point there. Crucial in his championship battle. Slams. Boy, he completely jumped offline there. Cased the triple. Bounced off the track and lucky not to hit one of these square edges as he jumped back on again. Lucky escape for Seewer that as he moves into 5th place. That'll give him another point over Geiser. Nothing to really sort of write home about, but it is a point all the same. Maxime Renault just offline, the other side of the FC Moto jump there. The gap between Febvre and Bogers. Meanwhile, 3rd and 4th still at 4 seconds. Febvre responding. And Glenn Coldenhoff still leads the race, on course for his 2nd race win of the season. And you know what? It'll be race win number 10 for him in his career. He's getting ready to take the 1-lap board in a handful of corners from now. Sven van der Meerden there, 194. He is in the points. 20th place, just behind Cyril Janot. Yeah, in the points even. But Glenn Coldenhoff got up front, stayed out of trouble, made the break and just made it difficult for everybody to get close. Here is Calvin Vlaanderen, I think, charging down into the final turn. Quite possibly. Oh, all of a sudden, Bogers has gone past Febvre. And we're going to get all change again. So Vlaanderen may not win the Grand Prix. It depends on what happens on this final lap. Bogers goes back to the top of the leaderboard. Wow, what a dramatic turn of events on the final lap. Romain Febvre has no reply to Bogers. Nobody has today. So Bogers now up in the 3rd. And this is how he did it. Got alongside him, around the outside, just before the triple. Did he go the distance? Yes, he did. Febvre didn't. Brave move that from Bogers. And he's up in the 3rd, and he could be winning his 1st ever Grand Prix. It's going to be a long lap for him. His lap time last time around, 2:11. It'll be slightly longer than that, I would say, around about a 2:15 this time around. But Brian Bogers, standing construct Husqvarna. I was talking to Tim Matthijs during the break between race 1 and race 2. And he said how important it was this weekend. They tried to keep him calm ahead of race 2. They've got a lot of sponsors here, a lot of hospitality and all the rest of it, everything that makes that team tick. And what a way to pay them all back this weekend. This final lap is a crazy one for Brian Bogers. It really is. He's never been in this position before. Glenn Coldenhoff is going to get dropped to 3rd place in the overall classification, but he's going to win the race. He's cruising home. Vlaanderen there in the opposite direction. Glenn Coldenhoff on course for his 10th career win, his 50th top 3 race position finish. He's just 2 corners from home. It's going to be his 2nd race win of the season, remember, and he's already celebrating there. Glenn Coldenhoff victorious race 2 France, does it here race 2 at Lommel in Belgium. Calvin Vlaanderen will cross the line in 2nd. That's going to be good enough for 2nd overall. But Brian Bogers will cross the line in 3rd. standing construct Husqvarna factory racing. Brian Bogers is a Grand Prix winner. He wins here in Lommel. Congratulations to Brian Bogers. What a day, what a Grand Prix. Everybody absolutely exhausted. Just the other side of the fence there, look, in the KTM top, Ruben Turleur, the training mechanic for Jeffrey Hurlings. So Glenn Coldenhoff wins the race, Vlaanderen second, Bogers third. Brian Bogers on the top step of the podium. Wow. A win and a third for him, 45 points. Vlaanderen 2 seconds, 44. Glenn Coldenhoff a fourth and a first with 43 points, and then Febvre missing out, fourth overall ahead of Siwa and Renault. Jorge Prado getting ready to come over the line now, out of the final turn, across the line in 10th place. 9th and a 10th for the Red Bull Gas rider, who said before the start of the day to the team that he wasn't feeling good, didn't sleep through the night. So those results reflective of that. But we're almost getting everybody over the line. But yeah, Tim Matthey saying it was important to keep Brian Bogers calm between the races, you know, to manage his expectations, if you like. Well, he doesn't need to do that anymore, does he? 2 weeks before the next Grand Prix. Glenn Coldenhoff, your race winner, making his way to the podium. It's going to be third overall for the Hoff. And hopefully we will get to speak to our Grand Prix winner any moment now. And here is Lisa with Brian Bogers. Let's hear what he has to say. Oh. Looks like it's been hard graft, Brian.
Brian Bogers, your first MXGP overall victory. You made it happen on the final lap. An emotional day for you, I can imagine.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know, we are doing it now for my little boy, and that it works out like this, it's amazing. I want to say thanks to everybody who helped me, who believed in me, and you know, it's just so special. You know, and a podium is nice, but the GP win, even a moto win in the first moto, I can describe the feeling. It's so nice.
Well deserved, Brian. Thank you.
Brian Bogers, standing construct Husqvarna factory racing, got his first race win in race 1, gets his first Grand Prix victory overall with his result in race 2. A first and a third for the Dutchman to win here, the MXGP of Flanders. What a day for him, the team, his family, and new baby Brian, born just a few weeks ago. Glenn Coldenhoff wins race 2 from Calvin Vlaanderen, Brian Bogers, Romain Febvre and Jeremy Siwa. That pass by Bogers on Febvre on the final lap gave him the overall classification. Maxime Renault crossed the line 6th, ahead of Tim Geiser and Brent Van Donnick, and then 9th place for Henry Jacobi, Jorge Prado 10th, Ivo Monticelli, Alvin Osland, Ben Watson and Tom Cock, and then Jed Beaton, Mattia Guadagnini, and behind them Kulas, Verato, Jeannot and Sven van der Meerden. The overall Grand Prix belongs to Brian Bogers, a win and a third for the Dutchman. His first Grand Prix victory, Vlaanderen second, Coldenhoff third. Those top 3 positions changing frantically in the last few laps of the Grand Prix. Febvre just missing out in 4th overall, ahead of Siwa. No change at the top of the World Championship standings, though. Tim Geiser still comfortable ahead of Jeremy Siwa and Jorge Prado. Glenn Coldenhoff moves up to 4th, ahead of his teammate Maxime Renault, just by 1 point. Look, Ruben Fernandez wasn't here this weekend, and both Brian Bogers and Calvin Vlaanderen capitalise on the absent Paul Jonas as well. Van Horbik maintains 10th. Yamaha go to the top of the Manufacturers' Championships ahead of Honda. Gas stayed third, likewise for Husqvarna, Kawasaki, KTM and Beta. What a fantastic day we've had here, though. The MXGP of Flanders here in Belgium, Lommel. Talk about shock results this weekend, or maybe not such a shock result. You know, we said that possibly about Calvin Vlaanderen winning in Sardinia, but was it a shock? We know he can ride sand. We knew he performed well there last year. We know Brian Bogers, good in the sand. And you know what? He showed that today. He proved it, and he's proved and shown that he's a Grand Prix winner by winning here this weekend. The toughest conditions of all. Take a look at the Fox Holeshot, shall we? Jorge Prado once again. Fox Holeshot number 15 for the season for the Red Bull Gas rider. Oh, it's taken its toll, hasn't it? Not just from him, but everybody is feeling the heat today, quite literally. How many races have we got left? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's almost there, isn't he? I think he probably is. John Van den Berg on the right-hand side there. Two-time motocross world champion, back-to-back, 125 and 250, 87 and 88. Going to be a busy podium here this weekend. Third overall, Glenn Coldenhoff. And you know what? It's an all-Dutch podium here this weekend. Monster Energy Yamaha's Glenn Coldenhoff, third overall. Doing it with a win in race 2. Calvin Vlaanderen, Gavin van Venrooy Yamaha, second overall. What a fight he put up. 2 second-place finishes. And your overall winner, for the first time ever, having picked up a win in race 1 for the first time, Brian Bogers, standing construct, Husqvarna factory racing team. Fantastic job, Brian. First and third. Tim Matthijs, team owner for standing construct, Husqvarna factory racing. Back on the podium, on the top step. The last time he was there was with Glenn Coldenhoff, August 9th, 2020. GP of Latvia, Kegums. Glenn Coldenhoff, third overall. Josh Driesen, the FMB president, hands a second place trophy to Calvin Vlaanderen and Gavin van Venrooy Yamaha Racing. And to the winner, Brian Bogers, Bodnies, the mayor of Lommel, handing him his first winner's trophy. Standing construct Husqvarna, of course, and Tim Matthijs will take the team trophy not too far from here, down the road to their base. Congratulations, Tim Matthijs. What a day for you guys. Championship leaders red plate still belongs in the hands of Tim Geiser. 7th overall for the championship leader today. 2 7th place finishes for the Team HRC rider. But for Brian Bogers and the 2 guys alongside him, in a moment we will hear the national anthem. But Antonio Elia Portela, the FIM CMS director, first has a job to do. Hands another red plate to Tim Geiser. He's led every round so far, held every red plate, and he will lead heading into Sweden in 2 weeks' time. But for Brian Bogers, Calvin Vlaanderen and Glenn Coldenhoff, the national anthem of the Netherlands.
En dan gaan we naar de national anthem voor de Netherlands, het volkslied van Nederland, luisteren. Hier de National Autumn nu van de manufacturer National Autumn van Austria.
Your top three here this weekend, the MXGP of Flanders, Belgium. At Lommel, Brian Bogers, standing contract, Husqvarna Factory Racing with a win and a third. Calvin Vlaanderen, second overall. For Van Venrooy Racing with 2 seconds. Glenn Coldenhoff, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MXGP with a fourth and a third. Dutch flags, 1, 2 and 3. Great day for those three. We'll talk to them in a moment. Let's take a look at the highlights of the race. MXGP Race 2 burst into life. Maxime Renault just ran too wide, allowing Jorge Prado up the inside for his second Fox Holeshot of the day. His 15th of the season. Close behind him, Ben Watson, Glenn Coldenhoff, Jeremy Seewer, and Romain Febvre. Tim Geiss was in there, so too Brian Bogers, who quickly found his way past Ben Watson to move into third on the opening lap. Oh, that was Seewer, how he felt. Threw it away. Picked himself up and rejoined in about 10th or 11th place as Coldenhoff went to the lead, past Prado, top of his screen, and just behind them Febvre got into fourth with that move on Geiser, and then Febvre's move at the inside of Brian Bogers got him into a podium winning position potentially. He then went after Jorge Prado, got himself into second, then Prado fell, and Prado eventually finished in 10th place. This also determined the podium at one stage. Vlaanderen was on top with that move on Febvre. Seewer got the better of his teammate Maxime Renault. Those two would finish 5th and 6th in the end. And then on the final lap, heading into the final lap, Brian Bogers around the outside of Romain Febvre got himself back into third place. That would be enough to win the Grand Prix. Coldenhoff won the race, Vlaanderen second. But Brian Bogers rounding out the turn, the final turn in third. That guaranteed him the overall Grand Prix victory for the first time in his career. The standing construct Husqvarna rider is getting ready to speak to Lisa.
Brian Bogers, a day of first for you. First MXGP race win, first MXGP overall. Hard work clearly pays off, but maybe baby Bogers was your lucky charm.
I guess it is. I mean, yeah, I still can't believe it, you know, and for sure tomorrow I even still don't believe it. But yeah, sometimes I need to watch because yeah, there is really a number one on it. So yeah, I mean, yeah, thanks to everybody, you know, the team and all the private sponsors, everybody around me. I'm so thankful that they helped me and that we can show this kind of results, you know.
Well deserved, Brian. Thank you. Second overall today we have Calvin Vlaanderen. Calvin, 2 second-place finishes. Hot sand is clearly your thing. You really had to dig deep in both those races, didn't you?
I did. I used quite a lot of energy the first race to try and get Romain, and then yeah, it was a tough race. I went really